changed around and lowered the amount of committees, if you haven't been around, down to 4, and then and one of the committees is the Community and Economic Development Committee as well. So we don't have a chair because the last chair is no longer on this board, so I'll run this off, and I guess we'll have to wait for when we have a quorum to take a vote to see who'll be the chair. Would you mind chairing the meeting tonight after I take the roll call?
Sure.
Okay. Peter Stewart, Andy Locker.
Here.
I see Linda Plords walking in. Linda, there's an agenda for you right there.
Thank you.
John Paul, Rob Carmichael, Jim Boothby, John Wardwell, Frank Dunbar,
Yes.
Mark Eastman,
Here.
Daphne, Ron Russell, and Larry Wall.
Here.
Thank you. And Mark, if you wouldn't mind being the chair for this evening for us.
Yeah, I didn't see the minutes though.
Yeah,
Skip that.
there was no audio from April 2018, so
So we don't have that.
no.
Okay. You want to start with old business? Update on ADAPT plan?
We can do that. In your packet, you will find a flyer. The final plan presentation and reception will be Wednesday, November 7th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Bucksport Middle School Performing Arts Center. Lisa and Dan from Alon, Mike Ludwig from EMDC will all be in attendance. This will be the community's opportunity to see the ideas as they were put forth in the plan.
Okay. How about update on Whole Oceans?
Well,
Yes.
ADAPT, are they going to, when they do their presentation, are they going to put some dollars with these different ideas they have? And yeah, two things I'm interested in. It's just like a 2.5-year plan or a 25-year plan. You know, so over what period of time are these ideas extending through? And then what kind of money does each idea bring to the table in current dollars? That would be two good things
I
to
think
know.
they do identify some funding sources, don't they, for aspects of it?
Yeah, so when the final document comes out, it'll have a priority list. Let me start here, and it's your first question. So Elan, who has our consultant, their work finishes as of November 7th. Eastern Maine Development Corporation is going to stay on, and the members of the committee are going to be an implementation committee. So the plan is that Eastern Maine Development Corporation will stay on until, and Mike Ludwig in specific, who's been with us the whole time, will stay on until the money runs out.
What's left of that money? Approximate.
That I don't know.
Okay.
John Paul, there's an agenda right behind you. Sorry. I can request that from Mike Ludwig.
Okay.
And to go along with Mark said, there's a priority list of items that are listed in the back with this plan, and groups that could help move this forward, and then all different types of funding opportunities are associated on that as well. This plan, to go along with the comprehensive plan, which was completed in 2017, and then the heart and soul summaries statements that were completed earlier in 2018, all three of these plans will help with the potential of getting funding, because it sets a direction for the town.
Thank you.
Yes. John Paul, we're at the update on ADAPT plan.
Specifics of funding? I mean, are there specific ideas that you're thinking short-term we would be seeking to get with these funds?
Funding or particular projects?
Yeah, projects, yeah.
I think what you're saying is they did rate the projects
They did.
Okay.
as
Going through the heart and soul process, how that worked, it mirrors it right closely. So
Gotcha.
these are the top priority items. These are the groups who could help spearhead it and move the process forward. And these are your here's a list of means of possible funding for projects.
Okay.
Identifying some grant
Yeah.
sources and whatnot.
Right, but that's as far as it goes, there's nothing chosen yet.
That's correct.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
that's correct. Hey, everybody, there's an agenda right there if you'd like to help yourself right in front of Mr. Hooton.
Yeah, obviously, I wasn't able to be on the call yesterday, but, so what is the outcome of the public meeting next week? Just to educate, or looking for public input, or?
So the public input was taken at the 2 open houses.
Yep.
And there will be between 8 and 10 billboards at the Performing Arts Center that will have information for the public to see. And in the auditorium itself will be the final presentation. And there will be public comment taken there as well on the final plan. It's scheduled to run from 6 to 8.
Any other comments?
I tried to get everything in color for you, but last I knew my computer was still updating.
It is. So do you want to give an update on Whole Oceans, Rich?
Yes, and we do have some teammates of Whole Oceans in attendance this evening. A proposed draft main pollutant discharge elimination system, or MEPDES, permit, and the main WDL, which is the wastewater discharge license, were made available to various state and federal agencies and from any other parties who were notified the department of their interest in the matter as of Friday, September 28, 2018. The draft permit was made available for a 30-day public comment period, which ended at the close of business on Monday, October 29, 2018. I spoke with, we had conversations with the representative from the state. All the comments will be organized into groups of similar comments and subject matter, and then they will need to be prepared written responses to these comments. They will be incorporated in a fact sheet attached to the permit, and then the issue of the permit will be final. Aggrieved parties have 30 days to appeal the permit. Is that what you understand as well?
That's fair. We do want to get up, or I don't know if there's any formality.
However you'd like to do it.
Town council. Yeah.
This is Jason Mitchell.
I'm Jason Mitchell. I'm the president and COO of Whole Oceans. Rich, thanks for your quick update on the permit. That's a big milestone for us, and you covered it well. I might just add that we received today all of the public comments from the previous 30 days from the DEP. There was 21 comments that were received. We read through a lot of them, and a lot of them are well thought out and have great questions embedded in the comments. We've touched base with Greg Wood, who's the point of contact in the DEP. Agree with your assessment of how he's going to organize them and disposition them and give written response to them. Our estimate is that'll take about a week, and barring any changes, we expect the permit will be issued shortly thereafter, and that's the start of a 30-day appeal period, like you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
The objective here is to disposition the comments in a way that's satisfactory to the author, to help educate and respond. In some cases, that might mean minor amendments to the permit to kind of find an appropriate response where necessary. But we're optimistic that it will go through, and it's a big milestone for us. That enables a lot of the next steps in our project. You can imagine from a funding perspective, getting that permit really releases a lot of that potential. There's some parallel paths in our critical path schedule, but this is a big milestone that unleashes a lot of the follow-on steps. I might just offer, while we're talking about the bigger picture, we Whole Oceans maintain our commitment to the community and the project. You guys have been great. We fully subscribe to Bucksport and the people and the culture. super impressive economic development group. I mean, what you guys have done in this town since the mill closed is just unheard of. It's downright impressive, independent of anything that Whole Ocean has been a part of. That just furthers our excitement to be a part of the community and collaborate with you guys. So we maintain that commitment. In terms of the property closing, this permit leads to funding that leads to closing. It's my personal goal to close by the end of the year, certainly as soon as possible. Depending on that timing, that releases other permitting aspects. The one you're probably most interested in is SLOTA. Right, that's when we'll be back in front of the town council and the planning board, and I'm sure the economic development committee with additional information on site layout and different aspects of how we interface with the community and the surrounding areas. So that's forthcoming too. You'll start to see that through the winter, and then we want to have a strong start in the spring for construction, and we're off to the races. So that's kind of our roadmap to making progress. But depending on the timing of how things come to fruition and the closing, the winter being around that time frame can complicate the schedule a little bit. I'd love to move some earth if we could this year before the winter hit. The permitting will make that close, but AIM, as part of our contract with them, has certain prerequisites before the land changes ownership, and that certain demo and site prep might happen through AIM in the process of closing. So you may still see some progress there by the end of the year. It's possible. It'll just be close to see when the weather hits and what we can do before the May winter is upon us.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions I can answer for you guys, or any other input or comments?
Mr. Epps?
Hi, Jason. Whole Ocean's had a lot of sponsorship from some very significant organizations, when you came to town and presented. And, so where are the questions coming from? Are they just independent people that are raising a voice? Like I said, you had a very significant, very high-level group of sponsors on what you wanted to do and so forth.
Yeah, lots of support. Bucksport's been unwavering in that support. The Belfast project has stirred up some other aspects, but I think we're conservative and transparent and authentic in our commitments, independent of what they're doing, but they have stirred up some questions. We're doing our best to respond and help educate. I don't think that's going to be an issue if that's kind of the heart of your question.
The other side, there's some overflow from the other side too.
And in the 21 comments we received, there was lots of comments from Belfast and other agencies, but our position on this is that we believe in the technology, we believe in the sustainability and the environmental aspects of what we're doing. And a lot of the opposition kind of comes down to education and the willingness to listen and collaborate.
Yeah.
So that's our, we want to continue down that path.
Yeah.
And you guys can trust that. We'll do it's a character that you should be judging, right? Like, we are committed to doing the right thing. We don't have all the answers right now, right? There's a long road ahead of us. But our motives are pure, and we have the same motives. Right?
We're 18 miles apart. We have two municipalities that are, it's like we're waiting for the first shovel to be turned over and let's get going. We're not so much 18 miles away, I guess.
And there is a difference, and people at the moment are comparing the two projects. They're not the same at all.
Yeah.
There's different technologies, different approaches, different systems, different tonnages, everything is different. The only thing that's comparable even is we're both wearing sand, but it's in different ways and different methodologies, and there's going to be that learning element by both companies, but there's this theory at the moment that we're both the same. We're not. We are different in how we approach it, and different in how we're going to approach the growing of the fish, the size of the fish, and our markets. So that as well has to be defined and differentiated as we go down this path.
You know, the macro level theses between both companies though have economic, social, environmental, sustainable type, bumper stickers you might call them. Like, you know, like we have the same initiatives, you know, on a macro level. The way they go about it is different, like Joe said. But you know, I'm confident we can work together and figure this out in this town, and to the extent we can help Belfast with that effort too. Like, you know, it's in the spirit, it's in the best interest, I think, of the overall area and industry to help with that. So, you know, we've met with Nordic, and to the extent we can help them, we will. But we're really committed to Bucksport. I should introduce, for those of you that haven't met Joe yet, Joe McKelvey is our Chief Production Officer. Lots of experience in aquaculture and RAS-based technologies, expert on fish and many other things. This is Eric Jacobson. Eric is our Chief Financial Officer. Also lots of experience in this industry. And between the three of us, we're the team that you're going to see up here more and more. Both Joe and Eric are looking to move up here and be a part of the community also.
So that's our commitment to this community.
Thank you.
We
And
like what we see and we like who we met, so we're prepared to move here with our families.
that's excellent. And thank you from me on behalf of the town for Whole Oceans was present the evening that Brooke Minner at Main Street Bucksport and Sue Lazard with the town of Bucksport received the MDF award last Thursday night. So thank you for that.
Sue had an amazing presentation. She really represented Bucksport well. It was impressive.
And I just want to say, for myself, if anybody has any questions, don't be afraid to ask it. Just because it's not answered the second you ask it doesn't mean we don't want to answer it. It means I may not know the answer and I have to go and find it out. So, we're not building nuclear submarines here, we're growing salmon. It's a technological and scientific achievement that's going on all around the world. We've chosen this place for many of the characteristics that have been mentioned already, and you know them. So we want to be as transparent and open and everything. We have no secrets. We're not going to run away from anything or hide from anything. We may not have an answer there and then when we're asked a question, but we will answer it.
But sirs, the delays well, to me they seem like delays, perhaps they're not. They're not roadblocks of any kind that you've run into though, really, right? They're permitting and this kind of thing?
Learning. The DP here and the Department of Maine is learning themselves because RAS is so new. And in Europe, there's only I can count them on one hand. I know most of them. There's only a number of them yet. This is a very new industry. And you step back slightly and look at the aquaculture industry as people perceive the net pen industry. So the first commercial net pens went out of Norway in 1972. This is a 48-year-old industry. It's a very young industry globally, and people seem to think it's there for centuries. It's not. Yes, the Romans had trout, but they use them for ornate purposes, not for eating. Commercial aquaculture, as we're now deeming it, is a very new industry. So RAS is an even newer part of it. So everybody's being careful. They're taking the baby steps first, which is the way to do it. They're learning from other countries' mistakes and or advantages and mixing the two of them. There's a big education process between us and them being whoever, you, the town, the people, the government. There's a big educational process that has to go on. And an understanding of that process. And nobody wants to jump in straight away without all the facts.
Okay.
So there's that goes on. And then you have the actual legislative side of it. You have the judicial side of it. And then you have, again, an understanding of these all working. So that takes time. So I don't think I'd be wrong in saying there's not any roadblocks. It's a slow but sure process because everybody's learning. We sit here and have the same conversation in 10 years' time, and another company else it'll be done in half the time because everybody's learned. That's just the nature of this business. Bearing in mind that from the time I put an egg into Bucksport, a salmon egg, it's going to be 2.5 years before I get a fish. That's 2.5 years before you see the end product, irrespective of what we're doing in there. So again, it's another long part of this industry that people forget. We are spending money for many years in advance. We have to commit to that. We have to have that. We don't want to fail halfway through before we even grow the fish. You also don't want to fail when we're nearly growing the fish, which can happen too. So it's not a roadblock. It's being careful by everybody, by us, making sure everything's right that we've submitted and our facts. We can support them. We have the data. We can show where we get it. We show how we can calculate or bring it together. the legislative people looking at making sure they're covered, the judiciary system looking at it, and then the license, and then people having the right to write in and ask questions, to which we're very prepared to answer, and then you go on to the next phase, next phase, next phase. But unfortunately, a day becomes a week, week becomes a month, month becomes a year. You know, believe me when I say, I'm blaming him that he hasn't billed for me already because I want to grow my fish. So, that's his fault. So, it's that sort of long process. But even if it's all ready to go tomorrow, it's 2.5 years before we put the end product out the door. That's not going to happen in 2.5 years too.
Yes.
So it's just the type of industry we're in. It's a longevity type industry. It's a long investment, long patience. A lot of things can happen biologically, technologically, socially, economy-wise, and so it's a risky industry. And that's why a lot of people are dubious about it, or a lot of people admire it when it works, like say Norway or other countries. It's taken a long time to get there. It's not an overnight industry. Thus, our commitment is not a day, a week, a month, a year. It's decades. In 10 years, we only have produced 4 crops.
Yeah.
It's decades. We're here, when we get this going, it's decades we're committing ourselves to.
Thank you.
Jim, you had a question?
Yes, what businesses or enterprises do you see growing in conjunction with what can we expect to see come in here for industries that will enhance your product or help with what you are doing or just support for you? Is this happening worldwide where these facilities are? Are they growing different sort of industries around them?
Question. That's a really good question. Sorry,
Rich, are we hijacking your meeting?
sorry. Yes.
No, sorry. I'm giving up on the computer.
Sorry. No. So we just had to rather than turn around and look at it. We're going to employ a number of industries here. We're going to have scientists and a scientific base. That's schools, high schools. We have to educate them. Colleges, universities. We're going to have financial people. They need to be educated. They need to come in. We're going to have
like the financial people.
We have administration, which is clerical. Then we're going to have people who have to work in the farm, so they're going to have a combination of skill sets. That could be tradesmen, that could be scientists, that could be farmers. Then you're going to have the truck drivers. Then you're going to have processing. You're going to have to staff for that. They're going to have to be trained. You're going to have quality control. Then you're going to have maintenance on all the buildings. That's electricians. That's handymen. You're going to have salespeople. You're going to have marketing people. You're going to have local areas where we need big mechanic facilities. We need shops. We need supplies. We need people to feed all of that. So for every sort of one job we create, there's 2 to 3 other jobs that are going to be dependent on it because it's the feeder system that we require. We're not an isolated operation. We need all the community stuff to work. So the food market is going to increase in what there's a lot more people.
Housing is actually
Housing.
a topic.
Schools. We could end up employing people that have young children, so you need more school space and or another teacher to the school. Well, another teacher to the school means another family into the area, because that teacher wouldn't be that family. So there's a knock-on effect here. There's a number of reports that you can read online about the socio-demographic results of fish farming. But generally, fish farming in very rural areas. I do not, no offence, consider this a rural area. I've never worked in fish farming beside town. I mean rural areas, 20 miles up the side of a mountain or down the side of a mountain. So you have to bring in everything, or bring out everything. So you need all the skill sets for that. So, as I said, truck driver, then you need mechanics, then you need fuel, then you need housing, you need the range of skill sets starts at 18 years of age to 80, literally, because in that you have all these range of skill sets. I just mentioned the science right through to marketing, admin, and a lot of people come out, people who work in other industries who can bring the skill set.
So you also have supply chain, which is another range of businesses that support us. You have internal employees that has a range like Joe mentioned, and you have the distribution chain, which brings another range of other companies to interface with us. So it's kind of the ripple effect, right?
Yeah, what Joe just said is, I'm not being flip, it's really, you're talking about basic economics.
Right.
You bring jobs, people, But do you see, I guess another way to ask Jim's question in the back here is, do you see some brick and mortar companies coming in? I mean, for example, engineering companies that support this, will they be under roof with you, or do you see them having their own place out here, or specialty companies? You know, when the mill was here, we had companies that specialized and all they did was essentially their hose work, but I mean, it was just
So we've
continuous
been
stuff.
building for over 10 years,
Yeah,
continually.
yeah.
So there's all that goes with building. That means we need to have a builder's yard, we need to have staff there. It's going to be bricks and mortar, electrical, plumbing, etc. We need all that range of skill sets.
Yeah.
You know,
The answer is
we're
yes.
looking for local people for that. We're not looking to bring that in because
Mm-hmm.
the biggest problem for me when I have to bring in a skill set like that is that when something goes wrong, I have to go back out to find it.
Yeah,
I need to have it local.
And that's where I was heading, so you'll keep
So we keep it here. So
core support will be
yes,
right here.
it will be. And I mean, you know, engineering drawings you don't need here. We can do that. But the engineers to build it or the people to build it, and the ancillary industry, yes, they'll all be here.
Yep.
And we'll be looking for local people. And we can get locals. We bring them in to be local because we need it for that.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about here, you know, hundreds of $1 million of business that we're doing, that we need to make sure we have those people on site. We can't wait for them to come from Portland or something like that. We just can't do that. If something goes wrong at a catastrophic level for us on the farm, we have a very short period of time to make sure our fish stay alive. If they don't, we lose our fish. We lose our stock. You know.
Jeff reminds me often, in 10 minutes, the power goes out in 10 minutes, all the fish are dead.
Only 10 minutes to save millions of dollars. Stock.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
so we
there's
have
some
a
pressure there.
backup system that we maintain. We are fish farmers. You know, yes, I can put a plug in a wall socket and I can wire a light bulb, but I'm not going to wire the whole circuit board. I don't know.
No.
And I tell you, it's not fun when you do it the wrong way. But so we have all this skill set. So there's a range of skill sets that we require. How many? I couldn't say to you right now.
Yeah,
There will be a lot.
I just was looking for the difference between in-house and,
It also depends what's being done. I mean, you know, we need consistent electricians and our builders, they need to be local on site, you know, local in the village. We don't need to build an electricity company on site. But, you know, we would store a lot of equipment and they would be enough to do it.
yeah, I really wasn't asking what you were gonna build outside, I was asking what entrepreneurs can come in here and put their businesses.
Well, we'd expect down the line we'll start seeing a lot of science entrepreneurs come in to do work with us, a lot of engineers and hydraulics as well, the tanks and water. But again, you could look that a bit into education and sort of R&D. But they're going to take that on to the next farm or the next type of business, like a water treatment plant that would use our type thing. You know, we're looking at spinning off industries like aquaponics, using a lot of entrepreneurs who take that to their own homes and do it. So there will be that type of opportunity. Again, it depends who and what they want to invest in at the time. But we have a core requirement all the time that will involve multiple people.
Yes, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions for the trio? The trio.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Sorry if we should have got off more than our.
Oh, no.
No, you're gonna help me get right to 6 o'clock. You did well.
Update on Heritage Park, Rich?
I have included in your packet a photo of the new sign. You can't see it well because it's black and white, but the poles are painted, so it looks good. Friday, I'm going with Jay, and we're going to find a lighting system to light that up because it's a black background. So obviously at nighttime it's a little hard to see. So Jay and I are going to do that on Friday. Had to take it in steps. Had to get the sign there. Wait for that to be there, paint the poles, wait for that to be there, serve jury duty, come back, and now that'll be the next thing.
Okay.
Also going on up there is there's the question about the power from Osborne's Plumbing and Heating when T&D Electric was there. When I spoke to Butch, that power was actually rerouted to another building on his property, so the power does not go to the sign any longer. Pemaquid Mussel Farms construction is wrapping up and their driveway is being paved as of today. I've included a picture of that in your packet as well after the sign. Greenhead Lobster broke ground on their site work today.
Who's this one? Who is this?
This is Pemaquid Muscle.
Thank you.
Yes.
When does the muscle company think they'll go into operation? Pretty quick?
Carter and I have been playing phone tag with the Bangor Daily all day today. Either he was on or I was on, and we just didn't. After I saw that, I tried to get in touch with him. But looking at everything, I think the only thing that needs to finish is the road work and then getting the stuff inside. I'd be optimistic to say by the end of the year, but that was his goal from the beginning, so I think he's still on pace. There are 6 remaining lots in Phase 2 and 1 remaining lot in Phase 1. New Form Supply also has space in their building for another business to join them in Automotive Elegance. Previously, Maine Maritime Academy used that space for some work where they had a grant. So that space is available. And that's everything on the park.
Okay. Park Street Extension?
Members from the town of Bucksport met with John Wardwell and his team to move forward with the Broadway and Park Street extensions. Permitting is being obtained from Mr. Wardwell's team, and this project should break ground in the early part of the spring in 2019. He, about an hour before this meeting started, he got called off somewhere else. He sent me photos, but unfortunately I don't have technology working on my side this evening.
Okay.
How many homes does he think he's, what of a magnitude on what he's going to build up there?
He's looking for commercial, and because there's 2 parts. So right now there's a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
He'll continue the cul-de-sac up to Broadway with the extension. So this is how that will go. And then there's another part that goes like this.
Commercial buildings that go in? Or?
That would be the plan for the lower half, and then the upper half would be housing.
But he doesn't have any plans to build anything. He's
We're working with developers, yes. We've been doing that for the past few months now. It'd be nice to mirror the opposite side of the schools, which is Forest Hill and the Buck Estates, to mirror that on the opposite side of the school system.
And this is housing, you're talking about, that you've been looking into.
With developers, yes.
and an update on the Dock, Dine, and Shop campaign.
Yes, so I did 2 different things with my advertising budget this year. First, before the year ran up, I did 59 television commercials with New Center Maine on Dock, Dine, and Shop. They were 2 separate videos that encouraged visitors to come in via the town dock, to come in for the day, shop, eat, and even local people to come over and do whatever. We had some pretty good success with that. Matter of fact, one Sunday I was watching TV and I got an email from someone who snapped a photo. That's the photo you see in there of the Dock, Dine, and Shop on their television. After July, I did another deal with them. It's called Premion. This was the part when we met with them a few years ago where we discussed that, well, how many people are watching TV now and how many people are cutting the cord. So Premion brings it to devices like Sling TV and MLB Network, on apps for mobile devices, stream it live to your television through gaming devices and all that. So we had 58,100 impressions appear in the 45 days. I don't know if you see that number, but in the month of July we had a 97% viewer completion rate. That means only about 3% of the people knew how to bypass those commercials that you're really not supposed to bypass, or just shut the program off and didn't finish. In August we had 96%.
Or they just left their TV on while they made a sandwich.
Right, you can't tell if they fully watched it, but the commercial fully played through is what it was. So I did personally speak with a gentleman and his wife who came up from Searsport, and they wanted to visit the Friars. The Friars were closed. It was a Monday, so they asked, where is the dock that we can use? So that was one person that I had a personal interaction with about knowing they saw the commercial. And Colleen Gross over at Rowan Wine Design said that she had a family that came via boat from Hamden who said that they saw the commercial and they used the dock and they came and visited her restaurant because that was one of the two commercials showcased her. So it is working. How well? The new dock's under construction, so the new pier, it should be complete. They were putting the rest of the decking on today. The next part of that will be the railings, but that will have to wait because tomorrow the crane will be in and the docks will be coming out of the water. They should be done that roughly 11 o'clock. Then they can start working back on putting the railings. We'll head down the fishing pier, take that out. That'll be lunchtime. Then we'll come back and do the marina, and we'll finish the marina docks tomorrow afternoon.
It'd be my suggestion that when we budget for something next year, that we include a good analytical way of determining how effective it is. If that's going to cost us money, that's good money spent. Otherwise,
You never know.
right. I think we need to be able to judge our successes and build upon them and measure our failures and avoid them.
Any other comments? Move on to MS Frame.
Yes, so the Fram arrived around 5 p.m. on Thursday, October 11th, with 89 passengers, and there were crew members as well. The weather wasn't all that great the first evening, so very few passengers got off the ship. Monday, so it took 18 months for the preparation of getting the Fram from Norway to take us as a destination. They finalized it. We're supposed to come in the spring. We had ice. We couldn't put the docks in, so we canceled that. They came in the fall. The unique thing about these passengers were they did not get shipped to Bar Harbor, Camden, Rockland, Ellsworth, or Bangor. They stayed local the whole evening and day that they were here. They did go to the fort and observatory, but that was a marketing tool that I used to get Bucksport to one of 3 destinations in Maine, which again were Bar Harbor, Rockland, and Bucksport. They did visit. I talked to them about Colonel Buck's tomb, so they went over to the grave. They looked at that. They went to the library. We had people in the businesses along Main Street. You could tell they were around. They were wearing red coats, so the thing of the moment was, hey, look at the red coats. Where are the red coats at today? So I think it went pretty well. I heard some good comments about our town. They liked how it wasn't as commercialized as the other towns that they visited in Maine. So that was promising.
Good. And lastly, an update on holiday events.
I've included in your packet a calendar of events. For those of you who are new, we do illuminate downtown with some Christmas trees. The decorating committee, Larry, Andy. Andy's done.
It's time to help.
Andy's done, but Andy will be there again, like he is every year. We put the Christmas trees in barrels. The town crew delivers them. The lights come from the Chamber of Commerce. They get strung around the trees. We make a good couple of days out of that. On Small Business Saturday, which is the 24th of November, we're going to have a Main Street ribbon cutting and celebrate Small Business Saturday. That's put on with the Chamber of Commerce and Main Street Bucksport. They got a collaboration with that. Later on that evening, the tree lighting ceremony will take place. The tree is right outside the town office. Everyone gathers. There's a new event that I did not have an opportunity to include in this packet. Chris and I decided to last minute to add a new event where voting will begin Saturday, November 24th. We're going to ask all the business owners if they'd like to participate in a holiday window decorating contest on Main Street. There will be prizes for the best decorated windows. The winner will be announced at the conclusion of the Holiday Lights Parade, which is on Saturday, December 8th. Also on Saturday, December 8th at 4 o'clock, Main Street Bucksport is going to host the second annual holiday photo booth. This year they will be located at the local Variety. And Saturday at 5 p.m., the Holiday Lights Parade will be going along on Main Street. I've been in contact with Mr. McGlynn about the use of the parking lot, which we typically use, but I may need to get in contact with Mr. Mitchell, depending on how all that works out, about the use of the parking lot. We start down that way, and we conclude here on Main Street. We started this tradition, this will be the third year, and the first year it was bitterly cold, and wasn't quite sure what we were going to get out of it, because the advertising, it was, a few weeks. And coming up over that hill, like, people were hanging from windows. It was 20 degrees out. It was cold. There must have been 500 or so or more people out on the streets. Last year we had even more participation, and it was a blizzard. The town crew literally got through the parade and then went out and started plowing the roads. So this year we're hoping for a balmy 60 degrees and make everybody happy.
Exactly.
That's all I have for old business. Did you want to go back to public participation
Yeah.
for anything not on here?
Hey, on the holiday thing,
Yeah.
in the last 2 years, Heart and Soul was in Rosen Building, obviously. No one's in that building this year. Any thought given to approaching them about, one, decorating their storefront? Two, maybe opening it up for that night of the parade? That was a kind of a community gathering place last 2 years.
Was it also open for the New Year's Eve ball drop? Do you remember? I know
It
first year it was.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was both years or not. I'm not sure if it was the second year. I think it was because we had that same band play.
Flannel Doughboys.
Yeah, both years I think, but the Flannel Doughboys might play for a different event down there than I'm thinking. But certainly the first year they were.
Is that something you think the Heart and Soul Stewardship Committee would take on, or do you think it should be a different
I
group?
can't speak for them. I haven't been. I don't want to speak for them.
I'll reach out to Nancy and see
Okay.
if that's...
Okay.
All right, any public input? Jim's the only member of the public here. But.
And Councilor Reps. He's no longer on the committee, but he's a member of the public, and we've got 3 gentlemen as well, and the press. Yeah?
I realize the bridge has been under construction all this time. I don't know where we're at with the sign that was on the bridge, however. I do know that earlier in the spring, when I looked at it, it was hideous, atrocious, beat up, a mess.
That
Where
one?
are we no, the one on the bridge itself, coming into town from Verona, that we had mounted on the bridge.
The black railing
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
and it's
so-
white.
Right,
Yeah.
so do you know, where are we at with that? Are we getting a new sign? What's the plan?
I was hoping to be done with signs.
I understand.
No, I don't have an answer on that.
I know we talked about having it updated, and people said there might be better ways at this committee to have it more easily readable when you're driving along at a good clip. You know, we talked about that, the visibility aspects.
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're waiting, as part of the ADAPT plan, there is wayward signage. There's a portion of that on there that
Might cover that.
might cover this, but I agree, it's not in best condition.
Mm-mm.
I think you have to go through DOT because it is on the bridge as well.
Yes. But we need something. There's really not anything from that direction that says, hey, we're here, turn left.
No, there is one sentence to that, but you can't read that either.
The one behind the tree?
It's not behind a tree, it's just the lettering so small.
That one across is still there, the one that says the best view of the bridge and fort, take a left. I think that's the one that's behind the blue house and the trees. Anyone else have anything?
This is probably a little off the subject, but I've seen these big campers come in through town. They take a left up here and they're hauling a little car behind them. And now where are they going to turn around when they realize they want to go back the other way again? Where are they going to turn around? They don't know the town, so if they're going to do it, they got to go down to the mill parking lot. But I've seen a mess. Sometimes those people trying to get through town, turn around and go back, some big camper.
Sure.
Or either they might hit Fortins, but if they're lucky. But I've seen it I've seen it, oh gosh, I can say I've seen it 30 years. That's how much I've seen it go by the shop.
Sure.
Every time I see them go by, of course now there's another thing too. Right across from a certain barber shop up there, they've got all these trees that you can't see through and see the fort. And now if they could just slow down and take a picture there. No, you can't see the fort from there either.
Yep. I know where you're talking.
I know it's not a big problem, but if I was driving that rig, it would be a big problem to me. To try to get that thing to turn around so I can go back on Route 1 towards Bar Harbor, their destination probably. I don't know what we can do about that.
I'm
I
not
talked
sure.
to the code officer about the trees. We can't eliminate them. It's in the
Shoreline zone.
yes, but we can thin them
And deal with
with property owner's approval. And that's Karsten Steenberg, who owns PowerWise, owns the lot
That could be
across
part of
from.
a bigger conversation, though.
Yeah. Well, which again is part of the adapt plan. There's a planned usage for that area.
Yep.
All good things take time, Frank.
Okay.
Any new business, Rich?
We've been getting a lot of media attention. We had a article recently in the Yankee magazine that Mel Allen put out, 6,000 or so articles. So that's
I don't know, 6,000 or so words, not articles.
yes, thank you.
It'll be
It's been a long day. I did 3 different stories today for the Bangor Daily.
I
So
hope so. It was due yesterday.
you don't have it yet?
No. Subscribers get it at the same time as my wholesaler.
Yeah, the town has one too.
I guess so.
October, November, I believe is
Maybe
the
I
issue.
could rent it out.
Yeah.
It is online, you can get it.
And get it online.
Yes.
Any update on Maine Maritime?
Besides what everybody read in the newspaper.
I've been out of town, so I don't know.
Oh.
Haven't-
I'm sorry. Yeah, they released. I was in jury duty the day it came out as well. So, but I did get a chance to catch up on it. They're moving along, and the last update that I received was they're still finishing up due diligence about being able to get the students that they need to make this a profitable endeavor, to make sure that the cost analysis breaks out. So, the end of the year is my favorite quote. I would say we should have an update prior to the end of the year.
Yeah, thanks.
Anything else?
How often, we're going to continue meeting Economic Development Committee, and how often?
We are going to continue to meet. I apologize. So this is the first meeting of the group for the last 6 months. We can set a regular scheduled meeting time. We were meeting the first Tuesday, but this in November it was going to be Election Day, and I didn't think that would work out very well for people. November's pretty swamped. So you got the groups that meet on November. Andy's part of Main Street. John Paul's part of Main Street. Daphne's part of Main Street. They meet the second Tuesday. Andy's part of the chamber. Larry's part of the chamber. They meet the second. They meet the third Tuesday. So that really left the first or the fourth Tuesday of the month. It can't meet Thursdays because of the way the council works out, and they have their committee meetings that day. And Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. This committee's always met on Tuesdays. It just seems to work best that way. So I can start rescheduling them for the first Tuesdays of the month again. I obviously wouldn't do it in November. We could do it in December, or we could do it in January.
I
Whatever
just
the
wondered,
pleasure
I
of
didn't know
company.
whether you perhaps decided to go to quarterly or what.
The first Tuesday of the month.
Yeah, my plan is that these meetings will not exceed 6 o'clock, and that way it'll allow the code officer to attend these as well if he has any input that he would like to. We're going to tweak the agendas. Before he used to give an update, but he's not going to do that any longer. All meetings are recorded, and he gives that report in the meeting right after this one. So we're going to try to make this more fact-oriented, and if we need to take votes, we're going to do that. So get things done.
Do you want to schedule one for next month?
For December, first week of December?
Yeah,
we
I
can do
guess
that. That would be December.
So, Rich, the idea is sort of monthly. You're not going to go to quarterly or something then at this point.
No, because all the projects that have been in work the last 6 months are at a point now where they don't require quite as much of my attention. So, yeah, we can do that again. I'm not going to hold a meeting if we don't have any, because I don't want to waste everybody's time, because everyone's time's important, and there's other groups who could use that time. There's all the volunteer efforts in town that we can use people assisting at. So, there will be updates in December. So we will have a meeting Tuesday, December 4th at 5 p.m. right here.
Okay. Good.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you, everybody.